All right, so let's get the body moving, shall we? So I'll meet you standing at the front of your mat. Stretch your fingertips down towards the ground. Lift up your heart, make your body as tall as you can through the crown of your head. Tuck the tailbone and draw the tummy in, lifting up the chest. And then squeeze your shoulder blades down the back like you're drawing in a pair of wings. Great. So the body is tall but active. All right, so inhale, sweep the hands out to the side and bring them up above your head and interlace your fingers and press the palms towards the sky. So notice what happens in your shoulders when you bring them up by your ears and what happens around your rib cage. Take a deep breath and fill your ribs, your lungs full of air. And then as you exhale, draw your shoulders down the back. So keep the arms straight and strong, palms pressing towards the sky. And then exhale and bring the hands into cactus pose, opening out your chest. And be mindful about squeezing the elbows. Good. And then inhale, sweep the hands all the way up. And again, interlace the fingers, press the sky away. And this time, draw the fingers back so you're opening up the shoulders. The shoulders are moving down the back and there's space between your ears and your shoulders. Just opening up the shoulders there. And then slide yourself through those 2 panes of glass, coming through cactus pose. And drawing those elbows against the rib cage almost. And trying to keep those fingertips drawing back. Really good for range of movement, this one. Inhale, sweep the hands out to the side again. And pressing the palms towards the sky. This time reaching up and come up onto the tiptoes. Reach up. Feel that height, length and steadiness and feel the small muscles of the feet, legs and ankles get recruited into holding your balance. And then with control, bring your heels down to the ground. Elbows out to the side. And squeeze those fingertips back. Elbows down to the rib cage. Great. All right, one last time. Inhaling. Swooping the hands out to the side. This time bring them together in prayer. And exhale and feel a bit of fluidity, opening of the chest. And then let your fingertips become heavy. Let your head become heavy and just breathe into the back of the neck. And as you begin to fold your body, just feel each vertebrae tipping and then the next and then the next and then the next. Until you come into a forward fold, hanging down. Maybe your fingertips are touching the ground, maybe they're not. Either way, just bob the chest a little bit. Enough. And then hold onto your elbows. Lengthen the back of the legs. And give the head a nod and a shake. Perhaps you've had a little break from yoga over the weekend, so give your body a chance to lengthen in its own time. Stretch one leg and then the other, so straighten one and bend the other. Great. Then place the palms to the ground and walk the feet back bit by bit until you arrive in your downward facing dog. And roll forwards onto the toes, press back on the heels. And give the head a nod and a shake. Great. And if you can, breathe in and out through the nose. Good. On your next inhale, bring the knees to the ground. Keep the hips coming forwards. Untuck your toes and squeeze your hips towards your wrists until you lay down on the ground. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift up the crown of the head, looking up towards the sky, that lovely blue sky. And then exhale, pressing into the mat, scoop the tummy in, feel your core activate, and then come back down into child's pose. Inhaling, rolling forwards, repeat that movement. Squeeze the hips towards the wrists. And nose down to the ground. Inhaling, lifting up. And exhaling, folding forwards. And take a breath in your child's pose. Inhale, tabletop position. And again, bring those hips down towards the ground, towards the wrists, and then roll the shoulders back. Try and tug the elbows towards the feet or the hips. And looking up, so you're working through limbering up the spine. And as you come forwards, you're squeezing your glutes, so you're trying to keep the lower back long. Inhaling up. And last one, to sit on your heels. Pause here for a few breaths. Walk the fingertips forwards in your child's pose. So you feel a stretch in the shoulders. And bring the hands into prayer and bring a prayer behind your head. And stretch your arms out long again. And then inhale into tabletop and exhale into down dog. So we're going to do that movement from down dog, moving through plank. So rolling forwards and scooping the tummy in. Press those heels away from you as you draw your hips towards your wrists. Pressing into the ground, looking up. And then exhale, tuck your chin, bend your knees slightly. Think about lengthening the tailbone towards the sky. And then drop the heels down. And again, rolling forwards. Think about lengthening through the spine, movement all the way through the spine. And you can speed up the pace a little bit. Energizing your anterior chain. And then inhaling, coming into your up dog, and roll over the toes this time. Fully in your up dog. And bring your belly down to the ground. And let's go into Sphinx pose. So elbows underneath your shoulders, fingertips spread, press into the mat. Hello, darling. And draw the shoulder blades back. So you're feeling the heart rising forwards and up. So you might feel this a little bit in the lower back, so you can ease it off with a little wiggle. It's normal to feel it just because it looks quite chilled, but it's quite an intense pose because of the way that you're recruiting all the muscles. So recruiting those subtler muscles there, pressing the elbows down into the ground and drawing your shoulders back. So you're activating your trapezius behind, that big diamond-shaped muscle that goes from your neck to your shoulder blades and the middle back. Great. And then rest down to the ground. Rest your face to one side. Heels out, toes in, and breathe. And then bring yourself back to center. Hands underneath the shoulders. Roll the shoulders back and down. Inhale. And exhale. Push yourself up if you can to a press up position. You can do this to knees and then full press up. Or you can do it all in one go. Push the heels away. Good. And then extend your tailbone up towards the sky. And downward facing dog. Now it feels like a rest pose. Great. So let's warm up the hips and your legs a little bit. So stepping that right leg forwards, come into low lunge. Pad the fingers on the ground and really push that back heel away. Good. Now squeeze your bundas, squeezing the tummy, navel in towards the spine, squeezing that pelvic floor, and then keep your balance as you bring your arms up. Good. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, cactus arms. Reach all the way back down. Step back. Chaturanga. On your exhale, on your inhale, upward facing dog. On your exhale, downward facing dog. And 3 to 5 breaths here. No rush, just taking time to lengthen your hammies. Let your heels drop down. Let them feel weighted towards the ground. Press through the whole hand to lengthen your arms and press more weight towards the heel. Good. Now inhale, step your left foot forwards. And again, you're in that low lunge, pushing the back heel away. Feeling that stretch in the hip flexor. Activate the bandhas and come up into your high lunge. And on your next exhale, cactus arms. Squeeze those shoulder blades and elbows towards the ribs. And step back. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Great. So step your left foot in between your hands and rotate the body standing, facing the long side of the mat. Great. So bring your hands to your hips. And you're just simply going to exhale, leaning to one side or bending one knee. Leaning's inaccurate, actually. You want to keep the chest up as you bend one knee and then bend the other knee. Simple, but quite challenging with your strength. Exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. Good. See if you can go a little deeper and reach the fingertips to the ground. Touch and up. Touch and up. Good. And again. And then as you come down, we're going to go into your skandasana, your ninja pose. So flex those toes up towards the sky. And then come into your balance. If you've got it in you, just breathe here and let your heel sink down towards the ground. Lovely. Now bring the fingertips to the ground and walk your body around to face that short side of the mat, the back of the mat. So if you want to be really powerful, you can keep the back knee off the ground as you come down into your lizard pose. If you want to be a bit more passive, you can bring that knee down and untuck the toe, but squeeze that front knee towards your shoulder. Lengthen your heart forwards and resist that urge to cave in. Looking forwards, lengthening the heart and feel the way that stretches deeper into the hip. Great. And then on your next in-breath, come back onto the palms of the hands. Walk your right hand to the outside of your right leg, and you're going to come into a brief Hanumanasana. So if you're feeling pretty stiff, you can stay in Ardha Hanumanasana or half split pose, which is your runner's pose here. Or you can go for Hanumanasana or full splits pose, sliding that heel forwards. You can untuck the back toe, but make sure that you're drawing the right hip back. So the ego wants to push that right hip forwards and go deeper into the split, but it's better for your body to square up the hips. Doesn't matter if you're sinking down into the mat. What matters is the way that you're stretching those parts of your body. So keep your bandhas active. You can walk your hands back towards you and lift up the torso a little bit. Breathe. Great. And then slide the leg back in. Tabletop position. Inhaling. Exhale. Downward dog. Give the torso a little bounce. Opening out those shoulders. And the fold in the hips, easing off that stretch. Great. On your in-breath, step the right leg forwards. And you're going to come back into that standing position. Toes facing out. Hands on the hips. Unsinking one side and the other. So with control, think about tucking your tailbone and lifting the chest as you're coming down. And as you sink down deeper, try and keep the chest lifted as much as you can and sink down deeper into the hips. Keep the tailbone dropped and use the whole foot to press into the ground. Good. Exhale to stand. Exhale to stand helps you with give it a little oomph if you need it. So now coming into Skandasana on the other side. And take a moment just to breathe. And then find your balance. Great. Placing the hands down to the ground and rotate towards that left foot, facing the short side of the mat. Coming down into your lizard pose, either knee up if you're feeling super dynamic, or knee down if you're feeling a little bit more chilled. Either way, getting a really nice stretch from the heart, drawing forwards. Good girl. Great. Come back onto the palms. I'm going to rotate just because of sky, but you're going to extend that heel forwards and try and flex that front foot. And you can keep the back toe tucked under if you want to protect the kneecap, or untuck the toe if it feels quite secure and supported. And then walk the fingertips back a little. And then point the toe. Another breath. And then slide the leg in. Coming into tabletop position. Inhale and exhale, down dog. Few little bounces. Let your heels drop down. Good. Inhale, come to your knees, tabletop position. And exhale, rise up into high kneeling position. Good. Inhale, sweep the hands forwards and up. And exhale, cactus arms. And bring your hands to your sacrum. So think about lengthening the sacrum with the hands. So pressing down with the heel of the hands. So fingertips facing up if you can. If that's too much, you can have your fingertips facing down, no probs. But quite good to get an extra stretch in your wrist. So if you're recovering from wrist injury, then fingers down is good. But otherwise, getting that extra stretch is great. Opening up the chest, push the hips forwards. And drop the head back. Squeeze the elbows together and breathe. And then pressing into the ground, release your hands and sweep them up together in prayer. Exhale, cactus arms again. Right, this time you can reach your hands to your feet. Going into camel pose, reaching the hands towards your feet, pressing the hips forwards. Letting the head drop back if it feels okay, but if not, you can just look forwards, no problem. Press into the ground, reach one hand to the sky to come out of it, and then reach the other hand to the sky. Exhale, hands down the heart center, down the midline, and come down into kneeling. Bring the knees together, and just pause with your hands in your lap. One on top of the other, thumbs connected, spine nice and tall, and let the lower back drop. Let that space extend. Let there be a feeling of melting in that lower back. Okay, second round for camel pose. Inhale, press into the mat with your shins, lift up your hips, and rise the arms up above your head. Great. Exhale, bring your knees underneath your shoulders and elbows out in your cactus arms. Good. So you can windmill the arm back if it helps you feel like you're opening the shoulder, and take the hand to the heel. And you can windmill the other arm back as well. So personal preference, just go into what that feels like. Push the hips forwards, breathe. Lift up the heart, lift up the hips. And press into the shins, reach one hand to the sky and the other. And exhale, hands down the midline. And again, coming to a kneeling pose. Close the eyes and let the sit bones drop down, resting on the heels. Breathe the breath into the lower back to encourage that melting of the lumbar, the dropping of the tailbone. And I'll meet you in meditation pose. Inhale, stretch your hands out to the side and draw this bubble around your body, completing your practice for this morning. Bring your hands to heart center and give yourself some gratitude for your devotion to your practice, for your self-awareness, and for all that love and compassion that you give and receive. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.